Imagine that. Somebody reading your report will take his car or her car and go over to the southeast part to look for a parking spot, and they cannot find one. And they can blame you because the report is misleading. You see how effective your reports can be? So I had to Google and check to find out if it's correct or not. Apparently it is correct. There is a town called Islip, and it is in New York metropolitan area. It's ranked fourth most populous town. The report we are going to do together may or may have not been inspired by this town. Anyway, we have a report at hand. Welcome to IELTS Juice. We are going to assess a report for academic module. The rubric says, the maps, plural, below show the center of a small town called Islip, as it is now, and plans for its development. Okay, so we have more than one map. There is a small town, and the name is Islip. So we have what it is right now. So we will see one map about its current situation. So I'm going to use probably present simple, and plans for its development. This means I'm going to use future grammar. So there is nothing about past. It's either right now and what it will look like in the future. Let's look at the maps. This is the first map. Islip's town center with a British spelling, of course, now. All right. The first thing I notice is that the map gives us the geographical directions. So we have the north, south, east, and west. When IELTS gives us this, they want us to actually implement that and use these geographical arrows and directions in our report. So this is important. This part is very, very important. What I can see is just the main road. Right now, there are shops on either side of the main road. There are housing areas connected. There is a park. And at the end of this exit here, we have a school. Fine. Now let's look at the planned development. All right, it's going to be quite different. So the main road is now transformed. This part is now no cars. It's only pedestrians only. So no car can go here. Cars should go all the way around, and then there's a car park. And the housing is now, the old ones are here. This is the housing area. This is another housing, but next to the park, we will have some new housing areas too will emerge. Remember the exit from the main road to the school? The school will stay here, slightly larger than the previous school, yes. And it's not just an exit, it's going to be a dual carriageway. So it's quite serious all around the town. It's like a belt road. And what else? All those shops only on the southern part of the main road, which will be transformed into a pedestrian-only street. The shops will remain here in the southern part. The northern shops will be merged into one shopping center. You know, like a mall, but not exactly a mall. A shopping center is usually smaller than a mall. And we're gonna have a bus station. We didn't have a bus station here. No, not in this map, we didn't have any. I mean, the city doesn't have a bus station at the moment. All right. That's enough me analyzing the image. I know the grammatical tenses that I'm going to use. I know the transformation of the town. Now, how do I approach this task? There are many ways you can do that. You can consider the main road and the things that will happen in the northern part in one paragraph and the things that happen in the southern part in another paragraph. That's one way. You can forget that and you can go with a theme. You can focus on housing and talk about the housing now and the housing that will look like in the future in one paragraph. One paragraph will be about housing. Another paragraph will be about facilities. So basically in one paragraph, it's where people live, and another paragraph, what facilities people enjoy. There are parks, there are car parks, there's a shopping center, there are still old shops, there's a school, but now it's larger, it's been renovated. So that part, or maybe you can talk about the road that it is now completely clear where people can walk and where cars can go. That can be another way you can go about and talk about this. But it's kind of important to separate because yes, technically you can include everything in just one giant paragraph and talk about all the elements. And you can label it as the transformation of the Islip town. Of course you can do that, but that is difficult to manage. And it's an unnecessary risk. It's very hard to organize and maintain coherence and cohesion in your report. We can break it down on a logic. So the logic matters here. What type of logic you want to follow. I just gave you 2-3 samples. There are multiple other ways you can do that. On that note, after a long analysis of the two maps, let's get into the report. Okay. The two maps trace the existing map and a proposed plan for the development of a town center called Islip. A town center called Islip? It's it's not exactly the meaning we want to say, because it's not the town center's name. It's the town's name is Islip, and this is its city center. It's the heart, it's not a central business district like a giant city, but it is the center of all the actions in that town. So it's important. The town, all of the town is called Islip, and this is just the middle part of it. It doesn't have a name. We cannot just say a town center which is called Islip. Apart from that, a little different message that shouldn't be here. I love the grammar here. This is contracted relative clause, or it's a defining one. So you define. The original format was a town center which is called, and it's now contracted to called Islip. Overall, the town supposed to face, the town is supposed to face, I need a to be verb to make it sound passive. This is not passive. The town is supposed to face the considerable modifications. I don't need we haven't defined anything yet. Remember, when we're writing the report, you need to write it as if the reader or the examiner hasn't seen the image. This is a misunderstanding among many candidates. They think when you have a report and you have the image, they put them side by side, and the image is there to help them understand. The idea of transforming visuals into words is that if the image is not there, your report will create an image in the reader's head that is pretty much accurate or is pretty much close to the exact diagram that they will see later on. That's the whole idea. It's a skill. They want to know how well you can transform something visual into words. And that is an important skill. It assesses a lot of your inner abilities, the English that you have understood so far. Do not write your reports as if everybody knows what the town looks like, everybody is already well informed, and it's just a report, it's just some words. You just want to write something for the sake of writing something. Nobody's going to care. That's not the point here. Write your report as if, for example, the image is gone. There is no image. And everybody, your company, your future boss, your future employer, your business relies on how well you can send this message to somebody who hasn't seen this image, because the image is lost and you only have that image in your head. You are the only person who have seen this image once and nobody has seen it before. You are going to characterize it. You are going to write it in words and give it a life. That's an important mindset you need to have. It's absolutely important. Try working on it. So face a considerable modification. Face considerable modifications. Correct, because there are more than one modifications planned for this town in its buildings and facilities as compared to the current layout. This is a very good overall. Basically, I now know there are multiple modifications. There is a town right now, and we have with a layout which is ready right now, but it is supposed to go through multiple changes in the future. Let's see what happens. With regard to the north side, I like this. The writer knows how to use geographical directions, north, south, east, west. With regard to the north side of the map, it can be clearly seen that the main development is expected to happen in this area. It's a good topic sentence for this paragraph. So the north part has more things going on in it. That's fascinating. Let's see. The northern part is going to be transformed more than the southern part. Let's go. The countryside is all one word. It's just one word. Will be completely removed. Oh. And the 8 existing shops will be replaced by a bus station, a shopping center, a car park, not a car, and a new housing. Either you should say a new housing, or because housing is uncountable, or you can say and a new housing area. Area is countable. And I think with area, it's even better. Let me look at it. Yes, you see, when it says new housing, it's a new housing area. So the northern part is going to be transformed. The countryside will be gone. We have a bus station, shopping center, a car park, and a new housing area. Moreover, pedestrians only zone has been designed to be replaced. The space pedestrians only zone has been designed. Not a very good word, because you know how they do pedestrians only zones? It's a street that cars used to pass through, but because it is very important now and the street is narrow, what they usually decide is to block the entrance and exit, or the entrance on either way. So no car can enter that zone, and that's it. Basically, they don't have to design it in any certain way. You just block the entrance, and that's it. And they usually block it using some, I don't know, some small barriers or soft barriers. To be replaced, the space which currently is a main road. Additionally, the shops located in the south side of the main road will face no change. No change. Let me see. The shops located on the south side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No change. Bravo. Let me just say that I forgot to mention, in this sentence, I basically talked about the pedestrian-only zone and how they construct it. And I forgot to grammatically tell you that this word, be replaced, is not accurate here. Moreover, pedestrians only, I need a hyphen here, zone, has been designed, it's not present perfect, is going to be designed to replace the space. So because pedestrian zone is going to replace the current space, a pedestrian only zone is not going to be replaced. It doesn't mean that something else is going to replace pedestrian zone. I apologize, this required a lot of grammatical analyses, but I got carried away with the definition of the word design and how it is not a good fit for this context. I forgot to grammatically tell you this. Turning to the middle and south parts of the Islip town center plan, it can be observed that fewer changes will happen to this area. I like the separation. We had one paragraph that focused on the majority of changes and the other paragraph that focused on some minor changes. That's also a very good logic. A new housing will be constructed, a new housing area will be constructed on the southeast. On the southeast, new housing area will be constructed on the southeast. Yes, the park will shrink in size. The current parking area on the southeast of the map will be smaller. There's a parking area. Where's the parking area? Oh, no, this is not a parking area. This is a park. This is not a car park. This is a car park. A car park is a parking lot, is a place where you leave your cars. Park is where there are many trees and there are playgrounds and you just chill out, you enjoy the nature, you have fun. That sort of activity, that's a park. A park may have a car park next to it, but a car park is one area, and a park with trees and birds and lakes, I don't know, benches, running fields, cafes, that's park. So this is a little misleading. This is a mistake because it conveys the message. This is factually mistaken because it conveys the message that in the southeast we actually have a car park. Imagine that. Somebody reading your report will take his car or her car and go over to the southeast part to look for a parking spot, and they cannot find one, and they can blame you because the report is misleading. You see how effective your reports can be? The current parking area on the southeast of the map will be smaller, so that's not the parking area, that's just the park. Will be smaller. Good, the detail is good, it's just factually incorrect. And the south school and housing area, again, I need that, will experience no change, except a negligible increase in school size, not on. A noticeable change in the planned development map is the construction of a dual carriageway, which does not exist in the current layout. Okay, so the carriageway is something totally different. To the writer's idea, it deserved a separate paragraph. I understand that. That's not bad per se. Let me carry on. The dual carriageway will be designed to have two ways for exit and entrance to the east and west side with a semicircle shape all around the Islip town center. Aha, smart. I understood here the logic. So we talked about the built areas. So we have a building part. In two paragraphs, we talked about the buildings or areas. The first body paragraph talked about multiple changes in the building and in areas in the north, and another paragraph, the buildings and areas in the south. But the dual carriageway, the passage, needs its own paragraph because it acts as a connector, and that deserves a separate paragraph from the writer's point of view, which is fine. I understand the logic. You may not agree with this logic. That's fine. There are multiple ways to address and approach this task. But the writer believed in this way, and I believe the logic is good, clear. I totally understand. I relate to it. All right, 245 words. It's quite a lot. One thing about writing these many words, honestly, the writer wanted to cover all the elements. And the writer did a very good job in covering all the elements. I believe so. So 245 words, maybe a lot more than 150 words, but it's for a good purpose. So I don't blame the writer for this. Let's look at the band descriptors together. Okay, so let's see. Task achievement first. You see, it fully satisfies all the requirements. There is everything there that hasn't left unnoticed. Even the size change of the school from a small one to a slightly larger one. Let me refresh your memory. Look at the school here. Look at the school here. So we've got to appreciate that. But at the same time, we don't have a car. We have a car park. And we don't have a car park in the southeast area. We have a park. The writer mistakenly took the word park with the word car park. Those two are different. So that means the report has a few inaccurate details. And oh my God, what else? The sequence of events was logical, completely sequential. I understood the elements, but not 100%. We didn't have a conclusion, or in the introduction, we didn't mention all the elements. We also used a variety of discourse markers, but referencing in one or two instances wasn't unclear. Well, but the referencing in one or two instances was unclear. And the paragraphing, again, I needed a conclusion just for the perfect score. You don't have to. If you're looking for a 7, don't worry about paragraphing. But the sad part is that referencing is something that needs work. When I say referencing, when we write, for instance, the modifications, for example, if you look at the first body paragraph, we haven't talked about modifications. This is our first time. When you say the modifications, you're referring me as a reader to something that doesn't exist. That needs improvement. Lexical resource, everything is fine. Just in some cases like housing, I wanted the word to be a housing area, not just housing, but they didn't impede communication. There were instances that grammar affected communication, like like recently I told you about the present perfect issue and also passive active voice issue when you have a missing to be verb. When you miss a verb, that's bad, that's damaging. A verb is a vital element of any English sentence, and if you drop it, then there will be consequences. On those notes, it's a solid 6, but it doesn't deserve a 6. I actually enjoyed reading the report. This report deserves to get a higher score than this, really high, because the attention to detail is very, very good. It's admirable. I mean, really admirable. I hope you also implement the same level of detail and accuracy in your reports and in your essays. Make them very good, very accurate representatives of you. I hope to assess yours next. Take care.